Okay, good morning. Welcome to the lecture series on electronic devices. So, in the previous lecture, we have studied about equivalent small signal model of JFET followed by its frequency limitation. And the topic for today's lecture is MOSFET construction. Right. So, quickly I'll revise once the content of previous lecture. So in the previous lecture we have studied the frequency limitation. The frequency limitation, what does it mean is the device or the JFET, it cannot work for all the frequencies. Okay, it cannot work for the infinite frequency and so on. So it has its own limitations in terms of frequency. That is known as frequency limitation. And what are the two factors which affects the frequency limitation, right? So the two factors which affect the frequency limitation, they are, the one is transit time, channel transit time. What do you mean by channel transit time? Channel transit time is the time taken by the charge carriers to move inside the channel. Okay, now if the electrons moving inside the n channel, right, if they become slower, no doubt they are they become slower means no doubt they are traveling with their maximum velocity, right? But if the input signal, whatever input signal we give, if it is having more frequency compared to that channel transit time, at that time what will happen? There will be limitation in frequency. That means the device cannot work at that very high frequency. Okay. So the channel transit time, it limits the device for its functionality at very high frequencies. For medium range of frequency, it doesn't make any difference. Okay. The second point, it was capacitance charging time. See, we have the capacitors, two capacitors. When we apply the input signal, they will charge, right? So it has its own time for charging and discharging, right? It charges and discharges, it takes its own time. But if the signal, if it is too high in frequency, right? If the signal is having too high frequency, so that the charging and discharging is not happening properly before the capacitor is charging up, before that only, if the negative half is coming, okay, this negative half is coming, or the signal is decreasing, that means it has not fully charged. Before that only it has to decrease, right? So the circuit, the it will become like this, it will neither charge fully neither discharge fully, okay, because it has to move in parallel with this signal. So at very high frequencies the capacitor cannot charge and discharge completely, right? So these are the two factors which influence the functionality of device at very high frequencies. Is this point clear? Yes. Okay. So the two factors you need to be remembering, right? One is channel transit time, CTT, channel transit time. The second one is capacitor charging time, CCT. CTT and CCT, capacitor charging time, channel transit time. Okay, both are time. Why? Because F is directly, it is linking with the time. F equals to 1 by T, right? So these things we have seen in the previous class. Next, okay, we have seen one derivation also for the cutoff frequency, right? What is cutoff frequency? What do you mean by cutoff frequency? Cutoff frequency is something which tells what is the frequency up to which the device can work properly, right? The maximum frequency after which the device will not work properly, or the maximum frequency, right? The maximum frequency till which the device will work properly, that is cutoff frequency, right? Not working and working, there is differentiation. Some frequency is in between these two conditions, not working and working, right? That frequency is cutoff frequency. How to derive the equation? The first point, current equation, j omega into C into V, right? What is C? There are two capacitors in the previous diagram, and what is V? VGS, right? And that C we will represent it with CG, right? So, and we will simply expand j omega, it is 2 pi f. Instead of 2 pi f, instead of f, we take it to be ft, okay, just for notation. It is threshold frequency or cutoff frequency, right? So ft will be gm by 2 pi cg. So instead of this total cgs, these two summation of cgs and cgd, we are representing a single g, right? And these two things you need to remember, it is taken directly, there is no base. Okay, so these two things you need to be remembering, and simply substitute to get the equation ft, right? After that, after this, what is this ft? Ft is the cutoff frequency or the maximum frequency till which the device works properly. How, on what all factors it is depending? It is depending on mobility, carrier concentration, yes, length of the channel, right? Inversely proportional to length, right? Then a square, then epsilon, right? E is a constant, right? So based on that formula, we have solved one problem. So in the problem, the data will be given to you, and you need to simply substitute in the given formula. This formula you have to remember. Maybe 4 marks question may be asked. Okay, if it is asked, you need to be remembering this formula. Simply substitute the values, right? So E value you need to be remembering, it is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19, right? So we have got 3.54 gigahertz from this. That means what? The cutoff frequency is 3.54 gigahertz for these given values. So normally the conclusion is JFETs, they can work with higher cutoff frequencies, okay, large cutoff frequency. See, 3.54 gigahertz, it is very very large frequency. Up to this frequency, the JFET can work fine. Right? So next, coming to MOSFETs, right? So we have completed the JFETs, and now we are coming to MOSFET. What do you mean by MOSFET? Is metal. Can anyone say? You people have studied, I guess. Metal oxide. Yes, exactly. Very good. It is metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Why it is called as metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor? Why the name is kept like that? Why the name is kept like that? You can see the diagram and answer. You can see the diagram and answer. What is first word here? Metal. Where is the metal? The top layer is the metal. What is the second layer? Second word here? Oxide. Where is the oxide? Oxide is present here, the second layer. What is the third word? Semiconductor. Where is the third word here in the diagram? It is here, third layer, right? So metal, oxide and semiconductor, all three are used. All three are used in this device. Hence it is called as metal oxide semiconductor. And field effect transistor, because the functionality or the working of MOSFET or this device, again it is based on electric fields, like we have seen for the JFETs. Okay, so in FETs we have basically uh, there are again MESFETs also, which is not there in the syllabus. Yes, MESFET is there, and FinFET is there. So these are the higher versions, right? So FinFETs, they are widely used nowadays in the industries. Even MOSFETs are used, right? So basically there are many types, but we have JFET, MOSFET, MESFET and FinFETs, right? Basically only these types. Okay, coming to the MOSFET. So as I said you, MOSFET, it will have metal, it will have oxide, it will have semiconductor, all three. Hence the name is metal oxide semiconductor, right? So here what we are doing is we are seeing how the metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistors are being manufactured. What are the steps involved in manufacturing it, right? So we have seen how the JFETs are manufactured. How the JFETs are manufactured. We take pure semiconductor, then we dope it, yes, with the n-type material. If we are uh, saying about n-type JFET or n-channel JFET, then we will dope it with n-type. If we want p-type, then we will dope it with p-type. Then what we do, we simply dope on the other sides with p-type material, and then ohmic contacts take out the terminals outside. Yes, call them source, gate and drain, right? Gate and gate, they will be shorted and we will call single gate. These were the steps in JFETs. But here in MOSFETs we have few steps. Yes, and what is this? Basically basic MOS capacitor structure. Why the name capacitor is coming here? MOS we understood, metal oxide semiconductor, right? Why the name capacitor is coming here? It is coming here because what is basically oxide? Oxide is insulator. So it is as good as two parallel plate capacitors, two parallel plates of the capacitors. What is there in between? In between there is insulator, which is oxide. So this oxide insulator, it behaves like dielectric. Okay, and this is one plate of the capacitor, this is the other plate of the capacitor. Upper plate is metal as shown here, and the lower plate, it is silicon. Okay, silicon or in general semiconductor, right? Understood? So we will come to stepwise manufacturing of this MOSFET, right? So the first step is, this is the first step. We take pure semiconductor, right? We take pure semiconductor. So first, the very first thing it is missing here. Okay, so this is the second step. First step I am drawing. This is first one. This is basically second one. What is first step? We take pure semiconductor, right? Like bread. Okay, like bread. Then what we do? If we want to make n channel MOSFET, then we dope it with the p-type material. Exactly reverse of JFET. What we used to do in JFET? In JFET, we used to dope it with the same material. If you want n channel JFET, then we used to dope it with n type material. But here it is opposite. You need to be remembering, right? So here it is opposite. If you want n type, n channel MOSFET, then we will dope it with p type. Yes, then we will dope it with p type material. Done. So this is the second step. What is the third step? Third step is oxidizing the silicon, oxidizing the p type material. See, we have taken pure semiconductor, then what we did, we uh, doped it with p-type material. Then in the third step we will be oxidizing it. What do you mean by oxidizing? Applying silicon dioxide. This is the layer of silicon dioxide, right? It is an insulator. Basically it is an insulator. So this is the third step. What is the fourth step? After oxidizing it, what we'll do, we will apply photoresist, that is deposition of photoresist. PR indicates what? PR is photoresist. What on the other day I had explained to you what is photoresist. So today you will come to know something extra about photoresist. What is that actually, photoresist? Okay, so it is one material which helps us in the process, further steps of manufacturing. How it helps, we'll come to know now. Okay, so deposition of photoresist is the fourth step. So after applying silicon dioxide, we have applied photoresist over it, right? Next, we have something called as mask. Okay, what do you mean by mask? Mask is something where few parts they will be open and few parts they will be blocked. See the shaded black color, it is blocked, and few parts it is open. Like mask means uh, in in pictures or in dramas, few people they use face mask, right? Face mask means what? Here near the eyes it will be open, yes or no? Or near the nose it may be open, near the mouth it may be open, and other parts it will be covered, right? Like mask of devil or mask of some animal, like that, right? So what is basically mask? Mask is something where we have few parts open and few parts closed, right? So here these parts are closed, the shaded parts these are closed, and after keeping the mask over this, what we do, we are applying ultraviolet rays, UV rays, right? We are incidenting UV rays. What happens due to this? Right, what happens due to this? So the parts which are open, right, this part and this part, even this part, so these parts they will be becoming stronger, you can say stronger, or they will be becoming resistive to the etching. They will become resistive to the etching. We'll come to know. Okay, we'll come to know. Only these parts which are not being exposed to this UV rays, right? This part and this part, these parts they can be easily etched away. These parts can be easily etched away. So in the next step, this is step number 5. In the next step, you are seeing that we are etching. The spelling is wrong here. ETCHING. We are etching the unwanted parts. How did we define unwanted parts? We just use the mask so that the unwanted parts remains as it is, right? So they are not exposed to the UV rays. Okay, so what happens? The UV rays they just react with this photoresist and silicon dioxide, so that this becomes stronger. Okay, the silicon dioxide it will become more stronger and it will not be etched away. It will become fixed. Okay, it will become very fixed. But these parts it can be easily etched away, which is done here. So this part you can see it is being removed, right? And photoresist it is just a temporary thing. For doing something we just apply it and simply remove it. So what was our aim? Our aim was to open this part, these two parts, right? These two parts we wanted to open these two parts. Therefore we had applied photoresist, used the mask, and etched away the things after applying the UV rays. So these two parts are open now. So why did we wanted to open these parts? We wanted to open these parts because we wanted to dope here. We wanted to dope here, which you are seeing in this seventh step. What is being doped here? N plus, right? N plus is being doped. So this is called as implantation of N-type dopant. Implantation of N-type dopant. So totally this is P-type, right? The entire thing it is P-type. In that P-type, for some reason we are doping it with the N plus type. N plus means what? The doping is somewhat higher. Okay, heavily doped. N plus indicates heavily doped. Is this up to this step number 7? You have understood? Up to step number 7, did you people understand? Okay. So I'll repeat from step number 1 to step number 7. Why? Because after I move this slide, I cannot come back to this slide. Okay. So what is first step? Taking pure semiconductor. Second step, doping it with the p-type material. Okay. I am briefing it in simple words, simple sentences. First step, taking pure semiconductor. Second step, doping it with the p-type material. Third step, applying the silicon dioxide. Third step is applying the silicon dioxide over it, that is called as oxidizing, right? Fourth step, applying photoresist. Fourth step is applying photoresist over silicon dioxide. Fifth step is apply the mask, right? Apply the mask or use the mask and expose the material with the UV rays, right? Expose the material with the UV rays after applying the mask. Okay, so this is mask 2, right? There is mask 1 and 2. No problem. So here it is just naming for this open and closed. Okay, so fifth step is what? Applying the UV rays after using the mask. So what happens? Few things it remains raw, few things it becomes fixed, right? This part becomes fixed, this part becomes fixed, right? So after this applying the UV rays, after exposing the material to UV rays, what is the next step? Sixth step is etching. Etching means what? Removing the things. What things? Unwanted things. Which are unwanted things? These are unwanted things, right? So these are unwanted things. Why these has become unwanted? Because this is wanted. This is needed. What is needed? This N plus doping is needed, hence this has become unwanted. Okay, because this has become unwanted, we have removed it by applying the mask, right? So sixth step is etching. What is seventh step? Seventh step is doping with the N plus material. Seventh step is doping with the N plus material, that is called as implantation. Is this clear? All 7 steps are clear? Then I'll move with the next part, that is step number 8. What is step number 8? Again we are using photoresist. See here, means it is again temporary thing. Okay, we want to remove something. If we are using photoresist, then what should come into your mind? We want to remove some part. Which part? Unwanted part, right? So we'll see which part we'll remove now. So again we are applying photoresist over silicon dioxide, right? After doping, we have just applied this photoresist throughout. Next part is we are using again mask. Again we are using mask, right? And now you can see this part, it should be removed. This part it should be removed. Why? Because we want to do something here. Okay, we want to do something, right? So what we are doing here, the other parts, they will be exposed to the UV rays, but only this part will not be exposed, right? So this part will remain weaker. You can think this part will remain weaker. And in the next step, again I have to etch. If photoresist comes, the next step will be always UV rays, and after UV rays, next step will be always etching. Okay, very simple to understand. So photoresist, UV rays, and etching, PUE, they come one after other. So in the 9th step, what we are doing? Using the mask and exposing it with the UV rays. So this part, it remains weaker, and this part will be etched away. You are seeing here, this part is etched away, right? Everything is as it is now. Okay, everything is as it is. But what we got extra? This part we have got extra. Correct? And here, what we should do? Here, what we should do? Here, next step will be applying the metal. What is metal? Aluminium. We are using aluminium because of its electrical properties. We prefer aluminium or the copper also. Okay, but here it is written aluminium. And why aluminium? Because it is very cheaper compared to copper. It is very cheaper, right? It has similar conductivity properties like copper, almost same. But why we go with the aluminium, why not with the copper, is it is very cheaper, right? So what we are doing, we are applying aluminium throughout this we are applying aluminium. But actually aluminium, it is not required throughout the material. So what we will do, again we will repeat the step which is not shown actually. Okay, so this is step number 10. In step number 10 what we did, we have etched away. In step number 11 what we did, applied the aluminium, right? We have applied the aluminium. In step number 12, which is not shown, again what we do, we apply the photoresist again. Okay, photoresist, we will apply the photoresist. So let me show here only. We will apply the photoresist, right? Then in step number 13 what we do, in step number 13 what we do, obvious, whenever photoresist comes, next step will be UV rays, right? So in step number 13 what I'll do, I'll just show it here only. Step number 13, I'll use mask, right? And where I want to remove, on those portion I'll keep it dark part, okay, or the blocked part, right? So I want to remove this part, so this part will be dark part. So I'm just drawing it for you, the next steps, right? So this will be kept dark, right? This part we need it, this up to this point we will make it dark because it has to be etched away. Even this part we will make it dark, this part also will make it dark, right? Because we want to etch away all this aluminium. Where we want to keep the aluminium, only we want to keep it here and in the center. So this part, right? Yes, this part also will make it dark. So this mask will be using, and even here also, right? So next step, step number 9, step number 10 is etching, right? Step number 11 is applying the aluminium. Step number 12 is applying the photoresist. Step number 13 will be using the mask and then exposing it with the UV rays. Again UV rays will come into picture. Now what will happen? This part will be remaining weaker wherever I am writing X, right? Wherever I am writing cross mark, this part will remain weaker. So next what we will do, we will etch away the aluminium. Where we will etch away, these weaker parts will lose the aluminium. So the final step will be here, right? So this will be the final step. Here the aluminium will be retained, here the aluminium will be retained, here also it will be retained. So aluminium is basically metal. After that we have oxide, after that we have semiconductor. So it is MOS structure, MOSFET, it is MOSFET. And next step, we just take out the terminals. The terminals, they are called as source, gate and drain. As we had the same for JFET, same names have been given to the MOSFET terminals also. And I said you, the fourth terminal is also there. It is called as substrate or body. It is called as substrate or body. Okay, so source, gate, drain, substrate. These are the four terminals of the MOSFET. Did you people understand? Yes or no? Okay. So this was about the manufacturing of MOSFETs, right? So many steps are there in manufacturing the MOSFET. This is, the name is fabrication of MOSFET, right? Fabrication means what? It is like manufacturing only. So next topic I cannot continue. because again we'll cross the limit. So for today we'll stop here. Let me repeat from step number 1. Step number 1, pure semiconductor. Step number 2, doping. Yes. Step number 2 will be the doping. Then step number 3 will be applying the silicon dioxide. Step number 4 will be applying the photoresist. Step number 5 will be exposing UV rays by using the mask. Then step number 6 will be etching the uh, silicon dioxide at some parts. Which parts? These center parts, right here and here. Then step number 7, it will be what? It will be doping. Yes, after the space is empty, we'll dope here. What will dope? N type material. N, so N plus doping, right? Then step number 7, again apply photoresist, right? Not 7, 8. 8 is apply photoresist again. Then next step, use mask and expose it to UV rays again, and remove some portion. Which portion? This portion. This portion we want to remove. I am just marking it. This portion. Why we want to remove? Because see, these two portions, from these two portions we can take two terminals, source and drain. Yes or no? This will be the drain, this will be the source, but we have not yet made the gate. So for making the gate, we want to remove the center portion, right? So remove the center portion, that is etching, right? And then apply aluminum. Step number 11, apply aluminum. Step number 12, again photoresist. Step number 13, again UV. Step number 14, again remove unwanted aluminum. Remove unwanted aluminum. The structure will look like this. Step number 15 is take out the terminals by using ohmic contacts. Okay, take out the terminals by using ohmic contacts. Name the terminals source, gate, and drain. Right? Source, gate, and drain. Understood? Understood all the steps? Everyone? Everyone understood? Okay. Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we will try to wind up here. So we have understood the fabrication of MOSFET, and we are into level 2 in low level taxonomy. And thank you everyone for joining the session.